This Jocks 94.5 podcast is brought to you by Millennium Satellite and Video. Log on to msbnow.com. TV excellence everywhere. That's Millennium. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning starts now.
Sidebar, Cody Edmonds tweeting in, "Hey, Cube, as a former O-lineman, how are you interested in seeing David Sanders' development at Tennessee this year?" Very much so. Has shown a ton of athletic ability. I want to see him, actually, I'd like to see him put on a little bit of weight, get a little stronger in the lower body, get a little more flexible in the lower body, but he looks like he has a very high ceiling and could be one of the offensive linemen to watch in the SEC this season. I like the way he plays. Got a good attitude, good demeanor. But we're talking defense today. It is Wednesday, June 24th, 8:17 a.m. David Pollack joining us in 3 minutes to talk college football defenses. And so some of those teams, Greg, that we talked about that bring a little bit extra, that attack, come after you. I mean, the number one returning production defense is Texas Tech, and obviously they are that. What do they need to be this year to mirror, be close to what they were a season ago?
Elite pass rush. If they can get the same pass rush that they had last year, they'll be in really good shape. I'm not super confident they'll be able to get that, though.
I do feel like a lot of it was created, however. A lot of it was because of scheme. Not all of it. I mean, you had some guys that won some one-on-ones.
Yeah.
For sure. But
and Shieldwood does a great job.
Correct. And the way that they can manufacture it to an extent is what I'm saying. So,
yes.
But they, I think, because of how things are organized and how things are run, I think have a chance to be up there and be one of those groups we're talking about. And maybe Tennessee, with all the discussion we've had about them, being more of that and not being as much of a reactionary defense as far as how it's called, they may fall into this category a little bit more so than they did a year ago.
Probably. But also when you look at Tennessee, and tell me what you think about kind of their group in general. Their personnel, while maybe not as disruptive week in and week out as years past, still pretty good across the board, relatively speaking, right? Like good linebacker play, got a couple good players in the secondary. Like there's some things to like about their personnel. It's just there are also some questions about their personnel as well.
Yes, and most of those I feel like have come in the secondary more so the last couple of years because they've had some really good D linemen. They have some really good interior D linemen, like guys that are not easy to handle and manage. Had a couple of good pass rushers here and there, and also depth I think has been a problem for them for a while on that side of the ball.
Probably.
I mean, you lose a linebacker, you're in trouble. You lose an edge, you're in trouble. You lose somebody in the secondary, you're in trouble. And so defensive depth for Tennessee, I think, especially going to a little bit more of a high-octane style, a little more of a high-pressure-laden style that they're going to run, mentality that they're going to bring, is one that I think they're going to have to be careful with because of what has been a lack of depth for some time. David Pollack now, former Georgia great. You can see him on his podcast, Talking College Football Now, joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. Talking defenses in college football. We have given our theory of sort of where defensive has gone from a aggressiveness perspective, David. Like my theory is that these coordinators are tired of giving up big plays and they know what's going to happen. They know they're going to give up yards. So they're just like, hey, man, we're going to get ours. And like we really don't care because we know we're giving up something anyway. We might as well try to get a strip sack, a pick, a turnover, whatever. What have you noticed about where defensive football in college has gone the last few years from that perspective?
I mean, it's been really fun to watch, like just the defenses evolve and what they can do. The being able to show something pre-snap and then post-snap, like NFL, they've been able to do that for a long time, and it's been a necessity. Now, college football is so good, you've needed that. Like you've needed to be able to show something, do something else. And so I think defenses are smarter. I think defenses have way more hybrid positions, way more guys that can play outside linebacker, can also play nickel. Like look at Caleb Downs was the ultimate Swiss Army knife, could play linebacker, could play nickel, could play safety. There's so many more guys like that. There used to be one guy like that. And now, you got a couple of guys like that can be, on the edge, can blitz, Arvell Reese was another guy that could play inside and go rush the passer go rush the passer off the edge or play inside at linebacker. So finding more guys with versatility, finding more guys that are those hybrid guys, because everybody's gotten smaller. The game's gotten less physical. And so you can kind of live with smaller guys, but also that combined with, combating, because you had to do that to combat all the RPO stuff that they were doing. So the hybrids, the intelligence to be able to show one thing, play another thing, all that works together where defenses is definitely taking that next step to confuse offenses and get more wins.
Back in the day, though, David, I feel like there was it was a negative to be a hybrid player. Like if you were, quote, positionless, then we don't know what to do with you. And frankly, it's not really desirable. And yet now that's become the norm. So when did that change, and why has it changed?
I think it's changed out of necessity. It's changed out of, but you're right. You're a tweener. Remember when you were a 100%. Tweener? Like
you didn't have a home.
You were a tweener, so you didn't have a home, and you were like, you weren't good enough or fast enough to play one. But here's the thing: as the game's gotten faster, and as the game got more RPO, and the game got more tempo, those linebackers Greg McElroy played with, like 260, heck no. Those guys are dead. Those guys are way gone. So now it's become more of a 7-on-7 game. It's become more space. It's become more speed. So everything's shrunk. Now, listen, you're also seeing 12 personnel and 13 personnel being way more prevalent now in football. Nobody wants to go back to 21 and 22 just because it limits so much what you can do from a passing standpoint. But I think that's what happened is you had so much of that tempo. Everybody got smaller. Now, oh, wait a minute. Like, this is absolutely a luxury. And, but you can think back so many years to, Tyrann Mathieu, who's a safety / could do these different things. Oh my, but he was elite of elite. Was it Simmons from Clemson?
Isaiah Simmons.
Simmons? Yeah. Isaiah Simmons was that guy that could play linebacker, could play safety. Like, those were guys that you had to be like so elite of elite. Now, like, wait a minute. What can you do? How can I use you? And that's what I really like. Think about if you're a linebacker now. If you can blitz, it's a great skill to have. If you can play the run, that's a great skill to have. If you can play the pass, okay, well, there's 3 phases. If you can do 2 out of 3, I'm okay with it. But you know what else I can do? I can also put you on the field in a package and maximize what you can do. There are guys now that are specialists way more than they used to be. And that's a great thing where in the past it was like, no, you need to play every step. Shoot, in our day, guys, too, you didn't come off the field very much. Like, if you're a defensive player and you tapped your helmet, you were soft. Now coaches want to rotate guys. And so because of that, more flavors of ice cream, man, more styles that they can do different things.
What scheme would you like to play in right now? We'll remove Georgia, just get it out of there. But like, who do you watch? What group do you watch and say, man, I would love to play in that scheme?
Bro, give me Oklahoma in a heartbeat. Like, let me play with the Sooners defense. Like, ready, fire, aim. Let's go. Let's play aggressive. Let's move. As a defensive lineman, like, I'm not going to be sitting in a moving target. I'm not going to have to 2-gap all the time. Like, I've got enough variance in what we do, but I'm going to be able to pin my ears back and absolutely hunt. Like, they are so fun to watch, man. Because, and you look at their guys like R. Mason Thomas, and he's not, super big. I get it, but as long as you can play hard and you can learn how to, like, none of those guys on those teams are taking plays off. Like, Oklahoma, you are going to play hard. Listen, Venables also had that at Clemson, right? When they were in their heyday, that was a big part of the reason. But I love watching the Sooners defense, man.
Yeah, they're legit for sure. Gone are the days where you look at the defense and they kind of try to defend everything. I feel like the defense have gotten a little bit more streamlined, a little bit more easy to run, maybe not as much thinking and adjusting on the fly. You play D-end, of course, so it's a little different, like see-ball, get ball for sure. But also, gone are the days of like, all right, we just need to be more sound. Like, why do you think we have abandoned being, quote, sound across the board?
Well, I mean, I think gone are the days, too. Like, if you think about it, when you used to come into college, man, there was a process of like, okay, hey, I'm going to take you because you're not ready, and I'm going to build you in what you need to be. I'm going to get you in the weight room. I'm going to develop your hands. I'm going to develop your technique. Well, now remember, these kids are coming in and you have no clue how long you got them. So, like, I've really got to use what you have. I've got to do a better job of using the talent you have. It's not as much about, like, oh, yeah, I want to develop you, but there's a lot of places where it's not really about development as much as I'm going to go replace you. And so you kind of do suffer with that component of it. So I think that's a part of the world we're living in. Shoot, I remember so many guys coming in, you redshirt, you figure out what you are, who you are. Shoot, I came in as a fullback to Georgia. I moved to defensive tackle as a freshman. The qualifications to play defensive end as a sophomore was breathing because we lost 4 guys to the draft. Like, I just kind of got moved around and filled a void in a hole. So, I think the game is different in the way it's looked at in development. And it used to be I have some time with these guys to sit them on the roster and to take them and get them tougher and more physical and their whole game get better. Now, I don't think you have that luxury as much.
David Pollack joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline talking college football defenses. Maybe minus the top 3, 4, 5 guys that everybody would throw out there, Colin Simmons, Dylan Stewart, etc. Are there a couple others you're kind of like excited to see what they do this year, maybe floating under the radar, maybe guys that just don't get enough discussion?
I think you'll see a bunch of guys like opposite Colin Simmons when you see Lance Jackson, who will be big time and will be, start to prove himself and that he's going to get a lot of attention. Elijah Griffin from Georgia is an absolute freak show. I'm not saying he's Jalen Carter, but he's got some Jalen Carter to him. Like, he's got some twitch to him to play that position that can be very, very fun, very, very unique. So we're getting to that time where we're starting to do all this and we're all doing our shows and we're looking for all these guys that are the best players at their positions and who are the guys that are going to be. And I think that's the fun part of this time of year too. Who are the guys that are going to surprise? Who are the guys that are going to come out of nowhere? And, Trey White from, San Diego State to Texas Tech. People don't know necessarily his name. That they will, because he's going to be a sack guy that can come in and rush the passer, be a menace. There's actually a lot of guys at Texas Tech that we could name because they're going to continue to bring in a ton of guys every single year. But those are a few names.
When you look at the SEC as a whole, it feels like the talent has no longer been consolidated. It's kind of spread across the board a little more than what we've seen in the past. I know NIL has a lot to do with that. But back in the day, it was like, man, unless you can go 8 deep, you got no shot. Now what's kind of the dream scenario in your eyes for depth on the defensive front?
Well, what's crazy about that, Greg, like, you think about, like, who are you going to predict to win the league? Like, gosh darn, there's a lot of teams. I mean, there's a lot of teams, and that didn't used to be the case. It used to be 1, it used to be 2. At most, you might put a third in there. Now you're like, wait a minute, who the heck's going to win this thing? But I think you have to have. Here's the problem with the roster fill-outs now, right? You can't pay everybody, and you can't pay third-string guys. Like, you can bring in everybody's paying their first and second string guys, and then they're bringing in developmental guys, like long-term prospects, guys that have, traits that hopefully you can turn them into something that they're not as highly recruited at these big schools. But listen, you got to have guys that can rotate. You got to have a lot across the board. Even if you take a step back, you got to be able to play your 2 deep. You're playing more games in a season now, right? Like, you're about to go to a 9-game conference. The playoffs are extended. So I think you've played more plays in the past with all these different offenses. And so I think that these defenses, you got to have a 2 deep, man. You got to go 2 deep across the board. Even if you're not a great player, it's going to be to give you rest. It's going to be to develop, to give you some, but you got to give those other guys minutes to get some reps off the field. But I can't, in this day and age, I can't pay a 3 deep guy.
I need to know from you, David Pollack, how you view defenses that are changing schemes that maybe could be better, but how much we should pump the brakes or step on the gas because the scheme changes. Like you mentioned, Colin Simmons and Jackson at Texas. Like, we love Will Muschamp, but it's still going to be different. Tennessee's got some guys specifically up front on that front 7, linebacker, D-line, that can play, but that's a totally different scheme. We didn't play defense in college, so how should we view that? Should it be automatic upgrade? Should it be, hey, man, you better wait and see, even though they got some good players, because that doesn't mean it's just going to work right off the bat.
Yeah, and not every scheme's the same either. That's also something I think that's really important. Not every scheme's as hard to learn. But like Will Muschamp, you know exactly what's going to happen at Texas this year. Like, what has Texas been missing? It has not been players. We've all been watching. It's been a little bit of toughness. There's a little bit of something in their neck. And Will Muschamp is going to bring that. He's going to bring he's going to come over and he's going to sit in that locker room and he's going to be like, hey, guys, when I was at Georgia, you know why we stuffed you guys in lockers? Because we didn't think you were very tough. Like, he gets to tell them that and kind of expose some of that upfrontness that needs to be, because their offensive line is going to be a question mark, but to be more attacking. Will Muschamp's going to play. They're going to play more man-to-man. What have you seen at Texas? Way too much conservative. They got too good of players to consistently play conservative. Just like with A&M, too, by the way. Like, Elko's there. So am I worried about Elko? Am I worried about A&M's defense? I know he's going to have his defensive mind that gets to go in there. Even if they have a new DC, I'm not the least bit worried about their scheme. Now, Knowles to Tennessee, now we've seen a pattern with him because it's so different. There's a lot of things to learn that could take some time. But even go to Oregon, right? Like, you can't screw that up. Like, I don't care who's calling plays at Oregon, guys. We can go call plays. I know Chris Hampton's new, and he might be an elite DC in the end. I don't give a crap. When you've got that many gams up front, grown ace man up front, like, they've got so many dudes up front. Like, if I want to be any team, I want their defensive line, because not only are they all good, they're all enormous. Like 330 and can penetrate, 300, all of them over, 6'3". You got guys on the edge that are 6'4", 6'5", 270 pounds that can hit you in the mouth. You got guys you ain't even heard of, like Matt Johnson, who's another 6'5", 300-pounder that's going to play on the ends, and I promise you'll know his name by the end of the season. So obviously there's a lot of different styles, but it makes it very easy to coach when you got a bunch of dudes. But there's also certain systems and certain guys that I already trust them, and I expect them to be better immediately.
We brought up a couple defenses that we feel like people aren't really spending enough time talking about. Is there a group or two out there that you're just like, why are we not talking about this group? Why are people not saying this defense is going to be up towards the top of all defenses in college football this season for you?
Well, I don't know who everybody's talking about yet, because it's the time of year when you're not listening to as much stuff because not many people are talking about the season. But I think a team that everybody will be talking about, like, I love what Notre Dame has, and I know Notre Dame is going to be ranked high coming into this season, but I don't know that I've ever seen a Notre Dame team that's going to be this complete defensively. There's not, like, when you talked about when they played Greg's team back in the day, or when they were playing Alabama, right? Like, we talked about their defensive front seven was really, really good. But how about their secondary? Their linebackers and their front are all going to be really, really good and take a backseat to very few in the country. And I know Notre Dame, being pissed off from a year ago, being left out. I know there will still be haters on Notre Dame, but I'm not sure people understand, and that they're going to when they play them. But you got the best corner in the country in Leonard Moore. You got so much experience at linebacker that has been there, done that. Drake's obviously been in there for years. You got so many guys that are athletic that have experience with Snead, with Osbury. Like, there's guys across the board, and I didn't even mention their best guy with KVA. Like, they've got a lot in place to be very, very successful, and not just good guys, to be like one of the best units in all of college football. That's why I would talk about Notre Dame.
Yeah, for sure. David, great stuff, man. We're talking defense today. Wanted to have you on to help us do that. You've been awesome with it. We appreciate it and look forward to catching up again soon.
Hey, great to hear from you dudes. It's around the corner, guys. So we're ready
close
for the good stuff, man.
We're getting there.
Yeah,
we're getting close.
Very close.
Right. See-Ball, Get Ball with David Pollack. You can find that on YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. It is a great college football discussion every single time that he comes on. Fan of the show, you should be too. We'll continue this conversation, though. More defensive talk to get to when we come back next right here on Jocks.
Go inside Jocks 94.5 on Jocks TV. Morning Jocks, Mac and Cube, 3-man front video simulcasts are presented by Bill Smith Buick GMC and Game Day Men's Health. Watch on the Jocks mobile app and YouTube by searching Jocks 94.5 TV.
One Night with Steiny.
One Night with Steiny. Shout out Full Send now.
Hey, bro, what's your name, bro?
Steiny. What the hell? We've been sitting here for like an hour together.
I don't know your name. What's your name, bro?
Steiny. I can't guarantee anything. All I can guarantee is that you're going to be entertained. I'm a professional. I'm here to interview.
So the whole interview, you didn't ask me what I like better, Burger King or McDonald's.
All right, and we are going to wrap up on that note. Thank you, Steve, so much. That was amazing.
Burger King.
One Night with Steiny. One Night with Steiny, baby. Let's go.
One Night with Steiny. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Hey there, I'm Paula Pan. I help people make the smartest money decisions possible. If you don't control your money, it controls you.
Yeah, you're not in control of your finances, and you have to look outside of yourself to live the life that you want. You're not in control. You're like, what is it that you actually want? Money should follow the dreams and goals, because sometimes we make the dream and goal the money, and you've overworked yourself and you've exceeded what you've needed for the actual thing you want. Sometimes we forget, what's the actual thing you want?
Afford anything. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Full Send Golf, part of the Full Send podcast.
All right, the Full Send Golf channel. I was like, let's go to the range. Then fell in love with it.
This pod is about to be crazy. I don't even know what's going to happen.
Join the party on the golf course.
You guys know how much I really, really love golf.
All right, Salim, we got 2 putts to break 80 here.
Get it there, right?
You wouldn't want it any other way, brother.
These are the ones we practice. Go.
Yeah!
Oh, let's go. Let's go. 80s, bro. Yeah, even though it's from the Reds.
It's just like a boys' scrap.
Full Send Golf. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.